Welcome to All Horse Racing All the Time, where we bring you fresh new horse racing information every single day. I'm Alan, your host. Today, I'm excited to be talking about a book by the father of speed figures when it comes to horse racing, the immortal Andy Beyer, maker of the Beyer figures, a creator of the Beyer figures that you see in the daily racing form. Now, I've wanted to read this book, get this book for the longest time, my $50,000 year at the races. Now, in this book, that's the title of the book, but that's something he talks about and how he got it done here in this book. But it covers other material as well, and I've been wanting to get this book for so long. And so I went out there and I got a used copy on Amazon here. And it's what I wanted was the original print with the original cover and everything. So I got that. And I got a good deal on it, I believe, $19 and change. It was 21 something with the delivery charge. But what we're going to do here is take a look. I'm going to give you an intro to this book and talk about it. You can see the cover there at the left, picture of Andy on the back. So we're going to give you an intro here, what this book is all about. And you'll decide if you want to get this book and if you want to read it. So we're going to take a look at that here. And we're going to begin with the intro to the book. We do have the $50,000 year at the races, and it's a compelling cover. Now, let me move to the side here. I don't know if you can see it, but the front has a picture of Andy on the nose of the horse coming in, I guess, at the finish line, which is it's interesting that he puts that on there like that. I like that. That's pretty clever. Adds to the cover, and I like the green print, the color of money. So let's take a look at this book, and I'm going to give you an intro here. I'm going to tell you what's in it, what you have in store to look forward to if you want to read it, and talk about what's on the back. And we'll begin with the intro about Andy. Let's take a look. Okay, my $50,000 year at the races. Now I'm going to go through this and real quick and just give you a snapshot of what this book presents to you or tells you here right within the cover. What you'd be looking at if you were at the bookstore. My $50,000 year at the races. Now you say, oh, 50 grand at the races. Well, this book, was released in 1978, and as you can see, it was $8.95 when it was released. And $50,000 a year back at that time, 1977, 78, in that time frame, that's equivalent of over $260,000 today. So this guy made a killing back then. So you can $50,000 when this book was written. Now I've read 3 books by Andy Beyer, and they're all staples that I can go back to again and again and again for my handicapping skills, angles, etc. So they're timeless. He's a great storyteller, great reads, broken up into chapters. Now, here it is. Andy Beyer set out on a gambling odyssey in 1977, so the 50 grand in 77, determined to prove himself as a horse player. He would marshal all his handicapping skills for assaults on 4 racetracks: Gulfstream Park, Pimlico, Saratoga, and the Barrington Fair. The 33-year-old Harvard dropout had the credentials for this undertaking. 2 years earlier, his book-picking winners had won acclaim from bettors and critics alike. Christopher Lehman Hopp of the New York Times praised it as a book you'll read and read again if you get serious about this business. And I couldn't agree more. You go back to these books. But the theory of handicapping and the practices of it are 2 different things. And Beyer did all he could to prepare himself for this new challenge. He consulted with other professional horse players. That's key. You want to go and you want to talk with other professionals. That's what I do. That's one of the things I bring you here at the channel. Information. I know people within the business, whether it be jockeys or people, professional players or people in the media. So don't just think you're a know-it-all. You want to when you talk to people, you want to talk to people who know what they're talking about, not just Joe, Blow. I've been playing the races for 60 years. Or I've been playing the races for 20 years, and that's his authority, right? So you want to go to people that know what they're talking about. It's just like when people go to school. You go there to learn. You don't go into life cold. You have to learn even how to talk and walk and whatever you want to do. Horse racing is no different. Okay, he refined his speed handicapping techniques, always looking to improve. He developed a revolutionary method of evaluating horses shipped from one track to another. Shippers, perfect. He formulated a bold betting strategy. During the year, he experienced the dizzying thrill of winning more than $10,000 in an afternoon. All right, so divide that by 5 basically. That's like winning 50 grand in it back then in an afternoon. And the agonizing frustration that drove him to bash a hole in the wall of the Gulfstream Park press box. When it was over, Beyer had amassed a profit of $50,664. His account of the year offers a rare, unromanticized look at the world of professional gambling. For horse players who have dreamed of beating the races, he proves that the dream is attainable. I tell you that here again and again. And he explains, and we go on. And he explains in specific detail, and there's a picture of the young Andy Beyer back then, how it can be done, clarifying and improving the techniques that have made him one of America's foremost handicappers. Andrew Beyer shows how to make the figures, the speed figures on horses in this book, and how to make the figures work. There are no gimmicks in my $50,000 a year at the races. Instead, there is a proven method of beating the races. And Andrew Beyer marvelously entertaining story of how he put it in practice. Now, he attended Harvard University, but failed to graduate when the 1966 running of the Belmont Stakes promised to be more rewarding than his final examination. In 1975, he published Picking Winners. Now that book right here, Picking Winners, a horse player's guide, which is instantly recognized as one of the finest books ever written about handicapping. He is the racing columnist for the Washington Star-News and lives in the District of Columbia within 70 miles of 8 racetracks. Now that jacket design, 1978 by Lawrence Ratskin, brilliant. Okay, so there you see it there, Andy Beyer. So what about this book? You're at the bookstore. You're going to take a look at the back cover. Decide, do you want to read it? I love that design, the cover. And now you want to take a look at it. You want to see what this book promises. What does it bring you? So this is kind of a review, not a review in the way. I haven't read it yet, but what I will tell you is this. Now we go to the back cover, and here he talks about what some of the people that gave their stamp of approval on the book. My $50,000 a year at the races. So you're standing there, you have a book in your hands, you turn it around. It's like, oh, all right, let's see. Is this book worth reading? How to recognize. Okay, a Master's Handicapper's Guide tour of American horse racing, full of important inside information. Isn't that what everybody wants in horse racing when they're handicapping the races? Is much information, inside information especially, important. So it's not just a story, oh, I won this money that year. This is a handicapping book. How to recognize a track bias and make it work for you. Is the rail dead that day? How to analyze a trainer's strengths and weaknesses, what to look for in a trainer. How to use a revolutionary technique that permits precise evaluation of horses shipped from one track to another. Terrific information. Shippers. Think Turfway Park, any of these tracks that have horses coming from all over the place And Andy covers it. Andy Beyer covers that here in this book. Now get a load of this bullet point. When to pay attention to the odds boards and when to ignore it. Next, how to use exactas to make big profits from otherwise unpromising betting situations. I covered that in one of my videos. Andy covers it here. So using the exacta to make big profits from otherwise unpromising betting situations. How to employ the clearest, most accurate, and most versatile speed handicapping method ever devised. So you got a bunch of stuff here. And I'm going to tell you the chapters that he has in these books, so you can go from whichever chapter you want. That's the last thing we're going to look at here. And then here's some of his reviews from Jim Murray, the Los Angeles Times. Andy Beyer goes to the races for all of us. Reading his book is like winning the exacta. Now, this is from Joe Hirsch of the Daily Racing Forum. My $50,000 year at the races is an entertaining odyssey through the land of the handicapper. Great storyteller Andy is. Andrew Beyer's approach to the arcane art of selecting winners makes for fascinating reading. His expertise is obvious even to the layman, but he does not conceal the central thrust of the book, how to pick a winner. Behind a facade of technical verbiage, this is good reading from start to finish. And lastly, from Bill Surface, author of The Track, horse players should forget today's daily double, exacta, and triple and put their money on this sure winner. My $50,000 year at the races. So I can't wait to get started. I can't wait to get started on this book. I know how good his other ones are. Now you got some of his others here who I go back to again and again, and I love reading just to hear the stories, what's going on, his mindset when he's playing a race, what he looks at. He gives some speed figures, some charts in here of the different horses he likes and doesn't like and why. Perfect for what you're looking for when using a horse or tossing it. And going back, the books that I've read for him, and I recommend them all. Picking Winners, that was his first book. Second book, Andrew Beyer, The Winning Horse Player, released in '83. The other one came out in '75, Picking Winners. And then in the early '90s, Beyer, Andrew Beyer, Beyer on Speed. Now that one I love. I'm a speed handicapper, as many of you who watch the show know. So 3 books, and then this one, got the original copy, one of the first releases with the original stuff, the pictures, etc. I don't know, the cover, the picture of Andy. I met Andy Beyer once at a handicapping seminar. I have a signed book from him that I got. He was at the seminar with Stephen Christ, also King of the Pick Six, and it was hosted by Andy Serling. So those are the books. What do you think? Have you read this book? If you have, by all means, please weigh in with your comments down below. What you think. Give your take on the book or your opinion about it. And if you want to get notifications of all new videos and pre-recorded shows here on All Horse Racing All the Time, as the title of this channel suggests, it's nothing but horse racing here. And new stuff comes out every single day. Whether it be selections for the tracks, the various tracks, which I do daily, or shows like this, or interviews with guests. We're going to have a big week lined up now with guests for the Pegasus World Cup at Gulfstream. Anything you want, advanced notifications of any new shows, any type of show, hit the subscribe button down below. And make sure you hit the bell. This way you get notifications. You get advance notice of when something new comes out. We have new stuff here, horse racing information, every single day. So I want to thank everybody for watching, and may the horse be with you.